Take some notes, class, because we've got UFC Nashville on the board today. And we're going to cover this card in its entirety. And we've got a lot of underdogs on this card that seem to be barking a little ho, ho, ho. So this might be a fun one. This might be one of those cards that if you just threw a unit on every single underdog, you might end up on top. Because even if, you probably won't get half of them to hit, but you don't need half sometimes. You get that good plus money going your way. So I don't know. This is a wild card. I'm picking a lot of dogs, so I'm probably going to look like an idiot at the end of the weekend, but whatever. Stick with me. You guys are going to enjoy it. Real quick, some notes, some housekeeping. I put out in the community tab, there is my Dana White's Contender Series videos. They are up on the channel for members. They later in the week, they will be up for everyone. I just don't want to put them up early because when I put them up early, what happens is everybody's like, oh, cool, I'm going to watch that later in the week. But then YouTube sees that as, oh, the content that this guy put out here is not the same for his normal audience. They don't like this, so we're not going to show this to new people. And so when YouTube doesn't show it to new people, well, that hurts the channel because then from then on out, all of my videos just got to get docked a little bit and then nobody sees them. So I've got to put them out at the right time. Otherwise, YouTube hurts me. So we're waiting on that. But if you really want to see them early, you can get a channel membership for only $2.99. Not too big of a deal. Not too crazy. I'm going to try to keep getting them out pretty early for the channel members just as a bonus. I can't promise it. It's a bonus. But yeah, either way, that's an option. Find me on Twitter, 138MMA. And also, we were profitable again last week with our with the top five best bets that I have for you. My top 5 favorite bets, I guess. We were profitable again, a little bit. It's 5 bets, so that's what it is. We do that over on the Patreon, patreon.com/138MMA. You can check that there as well as the Patreon parlay and access to all of the notes that I take. So you get everything, not just the stuff I write on the board, you get all the nitty gritty, as well as some extra neato stuff. So you get all that on patreon.com/138MMA. This has been a long intro, so we're just going to go right into the fights right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, 138MMA proudly brings to you the
matchup is currently slated to kick off the card. We have a flyweight bout between Ode Osbourne and the newcomer Asu Almabaev. Now, for Almabaev, he's 5-0 in his last 5. He hasn't been fighting at the UFC level, though, so there is some bit to note there. For Ode Osbourne, he's 3-2 in his last 5. Had some ups and downs, some fights where he was winning and then just kind of didn't. Some stuff happened there, but he's had a pretty good career in the UFC so far. 12-5 on that career, so good for him. Now, this one here is an interesting matchup because you got the experienced UFC fighter in Ode Osbourne. He's taking on the newcomer, and Asu Almabaev, who it looks like he's coming in with a head of steam. 17-2 on the career. That's impressive. Now, he's got solid wrestling, solid takedowns. Now, here's the thing. He's got tons of options on the takedowns. He does quite a few different styles, but they're very powerful. Whether he shoots right through you, picks you up, slams you down, whatever he needs to do, he's got very powerful takedowns, and that's one thing that helps him out quite a bit. Now, his scrambles, very good in the scrambles. When he gets on top of you, he can control you pretty darn well. He's going to look for that ground and pound. He does a good job of using his ground and pound to get you to give up a choke, and he has a very good choking arsenal. Does not matter what kind of choke, he's got a ton of chokes. That is exactly what it is. When he looks for the submission, it's probably a choke. Now, in the striking, he's decent in it. He's powerful, but he spins a little bit too much and kind of gets a little bit wild. Yeah, it works on the regional scene. In the UFC, it's probably not your best bet, but he's more of a wrestler, I would say. Striking's decent, though. I don't mind it. Now, the physicality of this guy is very impressive because, like I said, he's picking guys up and slamming them down, things like that. He's able to just bully through people with his ground and pound when he's got them on the ground. So his physicality is one of his better intangibles. So for me, Almabaev has a lot of the skills that you look for in a prospect. Now we're just going to find out how he can apply them at a high level against a guy like Ode Osbourne. Now, Ode Osbourne, good striking. He's got really good long, straight shots. Now he can use his kicks, punches with those straight shots. Doesn't matter because his front kicks up the middle, teeps, if you will. He's got those type of things to work with as far as using that length that he has, those long, lanky limbs. He's got good power, especially on the end of his straights. When he whips that out there, gets the hip into it, and just boom, at the end, it's like cracking a whip right in the face. Does a good job with that. Strikes in combination. A lot of times it's the 2-3 or the 3-2. He does a good job there. But the body kick, I do like that a lot, especially against a wrestler. If you can stick that body kick and suck the wind right out of him, that's always good. However, you run the risk of it being caught, whatever. pretty good there. Now, here's the thing. He does have good grappling, and that's important in this matchup because he's active off of his back. Now, if you look back into his career, he's been very active, and he uses that length well, but the thing that sticks out the most, that looks like a triangle, he has a good triangle off his back. If you look back into his earlier career especially, you saw quite a few triangles on the regional scene for Ode Osbourne. He's got those long legs, and when a wrestler takes you down, and they end up in your guard, well, what do you have as an option? Well, the triangle is there. So for Ode Osbourne, I do like that. The submissions off his back are a real threat in this matchup. It's a tough one. This is probably one of the matchups that I'm going to pass on as far as a bet goes. I am going to take the favorite here. I'm going to take Asu Almabaev. I believe he's still the favorite. I'm going to take him in this matchup to get the win. I think he's going to get a decision. I think it's going to be a close fight. I think he's going to have some trouble in this matchup. I think there's going to be some times where he's going to have to struggle. But I do think he's going to be able to get enough takedowns, get enough ground and pound, things like that to get the decision in the end. But let me know what you guys think. Are you on the Ode Osbourne side? Do you think the dog's got a shot? I think he might, but I'm taking Almabaev just because I do think it's going to end up at a decision, and he's probably going to get it. So let me know. I'd love to hear from you. And I'll see you. This fight right here might be the one I'm most excited for on the card. It's a flyweight matchup between Cody Durden and Jake Hadley. Both of them are 4-1 in their last 5. Both of them are kind of in that prospect tier right now, and we're going to try to figure out who is going to be moving on. Well, this matchup's going to tell us. Well, it's going to tell us who's going to be moving up the ladder and who's going to be kind of, fighting some of the lower echelon guys in the division. So who gets that nod? Well, we'll find out. In this one here, Cody Durden, he is a fast starter with a very high motor. He's going to come out, start shooting takedowns because his wrestling, it's solid. He's got good takedowns. He basically just chain wrestles relentlessly. Just takedown, takedown, takedown. That's how he gets guys broken. That's how he wears them down, and that's how he's just racks up a lot of I guess points or whatever. Basically, that's how he gets control of fighters. Now, here's the thing: he's got pretty good striking as well. It's not like super polished striking, but it's very serviceable, and he does a good job with it. He's got good power, and it's set up by the threat of his wrestling. So you're not going to see him come out there and just throw like a 6-piece, like beautiful combination. He just doesn't do that. It's not his style. His style is get you thinking takedown, hit you with a big overhand, then come back with a hook and throw that nice straight right or straight left, I guess, for whatever in this one. But either way, he's gonna come up throw good combinations, but it's set up from the threat of the wrestling. He's not going out there trying to like have a boxing match with you. But he does have good power, and like I said, that threat of that wrestling, after you've been taken down 13 times in a fight, maybe not 13, but 4 times, say, in a fight, okay, I got to watch out for that takedown because I'm using all this energy trying to get back to my feet. Next thing you know, he comes down low, comes over top, I guess it'd be more this way, comes over top, lands a big shot, puts you down. Next thing you know, you're on wobbly legs, and then he's on top throwing the ground and pound. So very, very good fighter as far as, mixing that wrestling in with the striking. And he's very durable as well. So if you catch him a couple of times while he's there, he's probably going to be all right. Now, for Jake Hadley, he's very quick on submissions because he's got slick Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and he's an excellent back taker. In fact, he even takes the back standing at times. He'll get you up against the cage, work around the back there, or just out in the middle, get up in a clinch, take the back there. But he's very good at taking the back, working for those submissions, guillotines, rear naked chokes, whatever. He's got pretty good wrestling. His takedown defense isn't the best, which could be a big problem here. But he does have a good body lock takedown and a good double leg of his own, so he can wrestle offensively. It's just his takedown defense isn't the best because he's content to rely on his jiu-jitsu at times, which might be good for him, but it might also not go well for him. So in the striking, he's got good clean combinations, and I love the way that he throws those hooks to the body. Very good move for Jake Hadley. Now, this matchup here, there's a way to play it and a way that I'm going to make my pick. So first off, my pick, I'm going to take Cody Durden because I think the fact that Hadley's takedown defense has been lackluster at times, I don't think he's going to be able to do enough off his back to be able to stop a guy like Durden. I think Durden's going to fight out of some guillotines, whatever. And Durden's going to be able to keep those takedowns coming, control time, land some ground and pound, whatever, and then get the nod on the scorecards. Now, there's a hole here. And here's the thing. So I know I picked Durden, but because Jake Hadley is a very big submission threat, and we've seen Durden submitted before, what you do, how you play this, at least by my estimations, you play Durden I think Hadley's submission is plus 250. So you play your 2.5 units or whatever on Durden to win because you think Durden's going to win. Okay, great. Then you have Jake Hadley, who his best path to victory is a submission, probably capitalizing on a failed takedown or like a not so good takedown or whatever from Durden. Then you play that one unit on Jake Hadley to win by submission. If he wins by submission, okay, you break even. But if Durden wins, you get all that money that you got on the underdog. So at least that's how I would play it. That's how I'm probably going to play it. But let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I spent a lot of time breaking this fight down, but I'm excited for this one. So let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next matchup here that has all the makings of an instant classic. We have Billy Quarantillo taking on Damon Jackson. This is at 145 pounds. This is a fun fight. I'm super looking forward to this one. It's another fight that I'm really excited about. If you watched the video quite a long time ago on my channel, Damon Jackson is one of my favorite fighters. I'm a big fan of the guy, so take this breakdown with a grain of salt. I am a big Damon Jackson fan. He's 4-1 in his last 5, 2-3 for Billy Q. Now, I do like Billy Q as well. That 2-3, he's fought some pretty tough guys, so no shame there. Coming off that loss to Barboza. For Jackson, he's coming off that loss to Dan Ige. Got cracked there. It happens. Both guys trying to bounce back in this matchup. Now, for Damon Jackson, he is a wrestler. That is his best path to victory in most fights. He's going to try to wear guys out with his wrestling, control them, things like that. Now, he's going to set up his takedowns by throwing his nice straight shots, that's what he does on the feet. He throws good straight shots. He's got a front kick up the middle, but the straight shots are where it's at. Those straight punches set up those takedowns. When he gets into the mat, he's going to scramble, try to get to your back. He's going to look to advance. Basically, if he can get on your back and start looking for that rear naked choke, that's what he's going to try and do. And if he can't get the choke, guess what? He's going to control you from the back, start landing some shots from there, just kind of winning minutes, okay? That's what Damon Jackson wants to do. Now, Billy Q, different style. Now, his is more a little bit very high pace, very just like tons of pressure on the feet. He's just going to come forward, just working combinations with extremely high volume. He's going to mix his punches and kicks well together, which I do like. He'll throw that body kick, throw the punches over the top, whatever, and just keep going through with it. He does a good job at that. If it does get to the grappling, he can scramble pretty well as well. He's got good ground and pound when he's on top. The problem is he does get taken down sometimes because he's just coming forward with those shots. That's just what happens. But he does have the ability to get back up. He's done a very good job of it. Now, something I didn't write up here. His striking defense hasn't been the best in his career. He does get hit quite a bit, but thankfully he's pretty durable usually. You can't blame him for getting knocked out by Barboza because Barboza hits like a truck. But either way, for Billy Q, he's very, He's very sporadic at times on the feet, and that can cause a lot of people problems. But I think a guy like Damon Jackson's going to have the answer. He's going to throw those straight shots right down the pipe, and then he's going to get that takedown. Rinse and repeat, and I think he's going to be able to get this one done. I think he's probably going to win a decision. I think it's going to be hard to get Billy Q out of there. But I think Damon Jackson's going to get this one 29-28 on the scorecards. He'll probably lose a round. I don't know which one that is, but a round. Damon Jackson is my pick. I'm also kind of biased. I really like Damon Jackson, but yet another underdog on the card. So let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you in the next banger matchup here in the welterweight division. And if you're enjoying this breakdown, hit that like button for me and show me that because it does help this channel quite a bit, and I do appreciate it very much. We have Carlston Harris. He is coming in 4-1 in his last 5, and he's taking on Jeremiah Wells, who is 5-0 in his last 5. Now, for these two guys here, there's a bit of a physical difference here. The height is the biggest physical difference, where we have a 6-foot Carlston Harris taking on the 5'9" Jeremiah Wells. But here's the thing. Wells has a long wingspan of 74 inches. Sure, Carlston Harris still has the reach advantage at 76 inches, but that playing field's a little more even with that long wingspan from Wells. Now, this matchup, I'm super excited for this one. It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be a fun time. Carlston Harris, he's a good striker with a lot of power and a lot of volume, typically, but he is a bit wild. He throws weird punches sometimes. He's kind of almost like his cross is kind of like that sometimes. That might not even have been a good impersonation of it. But when he hits you, it hurts, all right? So that's what matters. When he gets to the mat, he's usually going to bring it there with a body lock. That's his takedown. He likes the body lock takedowns. He's got solid grappling overall, but the submission attempts are very opportunistic. He likes to jump on those front chokes, whether it be an anaconda or a darce or whatever it may be. He's got a very tight squeeze as well. We've seen it earlier, I guess, in his career a lot more, where he gets a hold of the guy, gets him in the the arm triangle. There we go. That's what I was looking for. But it's not from the same traditional position that you'd assume, and you can get it from across the body and just squeeze the heck out of you until you're out. So that squeeze it's legit. He can squeeze a guy to I said squeeze too many times. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, powerful ground and pound as well. The guy hits like a truck, so that's what he got. Carlston Harris, very good on the ground, pretty darn good in the striking. Similar for Jeremiah Wells. The guy has good striking. He's got powerful combinations. He can counter-strike very well. Now, on the grappling, dude's very accomplished on the ground as well. He's got solid grappling, and he kind of bullies through his opponents, whether that's the way he wants to get him to the ground or when he gets there, because he'll pass guard or pass into, mount, side control, whatever he needs to do, take the back. He'll do those things. He can do it either with skill or athleticism, and having the option really benefits this man, because what he's able to do is if you're giving him trouble in the skill department, cool, he's probably more athletic than you. If you're as athletic than him and you're using that to kind of keep up with him, well, he's probably got the skill. So he's very good at passing, and when he does get to your back, which is what he usually is trying to do, he's got a lights-out rear naked choke. This is a very tough matchup, and gosh darn it, guess what? I'm on another underdog here. I like Carlston Harris, and it's not because I think he's like a landslide better than Wells, but I think this is really, really close, like 50-50. I really, like, if I flip the coin, I feel like that'd be just as accurate as me trying to make a pick here, because I don't think that there's a big skill gap between these two, and if you're going to give me one at underdog price who also has the height and reach advantage, all right, I'm going to take it. So give me Carlston Harris. I think he's going to get it done. I know he's got the one loss in his last 5, but what was that, Shavkat Rakhmonov? Come on now. So let me know what you guys think. I'll see you on the next fight. I appreciate y'all. Really fun bantamweight matchup here between Raoni Barcelos and Kyler Phillips. Now for Barcelos, he's stepping in short notice, so take that into account. He is 2-3 in the last 5, whereas Phillips is 4-1 in the last 5. Now if you remember, Phillips is coming off of that USADA suspension. I do believe he's back a little bit earlier than originally expected. Not sure what happened there, but he is back and he's ready to roll. He was originally slated to be on this card, but he's now fighting Barcelos, who stepped in on a couple of weeks' notice, I think it is. So he's had a little bit of time to prepare, but not that much. Phillips is also younger and taller and longer. So 28 years old as opposed to 36. He's 5'8" with a 72-inch reach for Phillips, and for Barcelos, he's only 5'7" with a 67-inch reach. So Phillips has all the physical advantages. He's younger, he's taller, longer wingspan, wasn't just knocked out recently. No big deal. Barcelos was knocked out by Umar Nurmagomedov. It's going to happen. Umar's probably going to be the champion at some point. But either way, he's just coming off that knockout loss. He is stepping in on short notice. But here's the thing. There's something to be said for experience. And Barcelos has some experience against some of the best fighters in the division. And he's looked pretty good against most of them. He's only got 4 losses in his entire career. 3 of them just happened to be in his last 5. So is he starting to slow down a bit? Yeah, probably. It does kind of appear to be that way. But I don't think it's as hard of a drop-off as everybody else may think at this point, because he is a pretty big underdog here. Last I saw, it was like plus 180. So take this into account, the fact that he is kind of slow going down on the career, but we got to kind of gauge where that is. And let's go off of what we got here. I'm going to give you all the information, and then I'm going to kind of circle back and see how accurate some of this still is. So for Phillips, we'll start on his side because he's on the side of the board. Solid striking. He's got a very dynamic attack and can strike in combinations. Sometimes just gets a little bit too flashy. What do I mean by that? Some of his kicks, he gets a little bit, these big looping kicks, these big spin kicks or whatever, and some things that, yeah, they look cool, but they don't really land often, and they don't do a ton of damage because, well, you're missing, you're hitting air a lot. But when he gets his hands going, gets his kicks going, just sticks with some of the more traditional attacks, he does pretty well there. But it is nice to have those in your back pocket, those big, flashy, dynamic movements, and he does use them pretty well at times. Now, when it comes to the grappling, you don't think of Kyler Phillips as a grappler if you've just seen his highlight reel, because his highlights all these big, cool, flashy things. He's got good grappling as well. He shoots his takedowns well, times them when you're expecting the strikes, gets in, gets under your strikes, takes you down, starts looking for submissions, and throwing pretty good ground and pound. Lots of volume on the ground and pound, which is good. Now, he's going to get up against Barcelos, who in his prime, skill for skill, is one of the better fighters in the division, but he's getting a little older, like I said. He still has that solid wrestling, very good takedown entries. He can scramble with the best of them, and he's very hard to take down. He could negate the takedowns of Kyler Phillips just because his takedown defense is so good, and also the threat of his jiu-jitsu, because he has a very high level of jiu-jitsu skill, and he has just a massive toolbox. So I could see Phillips saying, okay, well, we're going to have to keep this on the feet because I don't want to mess around with that jiu-jitsu, and maybe he shoots a couple of takedowns, finds out quickly that he ain't going to be able to take him down. So we end up with Barcelos and Phillips in a striking matchup, which is what I see this happening as. And in the striking, Barcelos is pretty darn good too. He's got that kind of Muay Thai, but mostly the boxing-ish Muay Thai style. He's got very good leg kicks, good volume, power, combinations, all those things. skill for skill, Barcelos should win this fight. But here's the thing. He is getting older, and he just was knocked out. He's 2-3 in his last 5. Where do I see him at? I'm going to take Barcelos in this matchup. But I won't be surprised if he goes out there and he doesn't look very good because he is getting older. And like I said, he's 2-3 in his last 5. He's slowing down. Sometimes it hits guys a little harder than it should and a little bit faster than it should. I'm going to take him in the matchup. I'm going to hope that he can, turn back the clock just a little bit. That would have been forward. Turn back the clock just a little bit. Hope that he can just kind of, use that, whatever he's got left in the youth, use the experience, and just try to kind of squeak this one out because he is a big underdog. And something I think might be interesting is just taking all the underdogs that you think got a shot, throw them in a big round robin, and just seeing how it happens. Play it for 2s or something. Might be a fun idea. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Barcelos is the pick. Yeah, there's a lot of close ones on this card, guys. I'll see you in the next striking clash here. Ignacio Bahamondes is taking on Ludovit Klein in the lightweight division. Now, this matchup's interesting because their 5-on-in does not look very close, but this is a good competitive striking matchup. Now, for Bahamondes, he's 4-1 in his last 5, 2-2 and a draw for Klein. Klein is going to be much shorter, though. He's 5'7" with a 72-inch reach. The 6'3", 75.5-inch reach of Bahamondes. So he's very tall. I thought he was listed as like 6'1", 6'2" before, but here he is at 6'3", so that's what we're going with. In this one here, like I said, striking matchup predominantly, but both guys do have the ability to work in the grappling. Now, for Klein, solid striker. He tends to be a bit of a counter striker a lot of the time. He has good timing on his counters, and he likes to wait for his opponent to initiate and then come back with those nice, powerful shots. He does have good combinations as well. He can get going offensively, and a lot of times if he's going to do that, he's going to lead with a kick. Well, he's got nasty kicks to all levels. His power on those kicks is just brutal. Absolutely. Legs, body. Not so much the head on somebody that's 6'3" probably, but normally head kicks. This matchup, I feel like that's a long way up. I am 5'8", not 5'7", but I know that at 5'8", being an inch taller, that if I had to kick somebody 6'3" in the head, it's not going to happen. I'm going to end up on my butt because I tried to kick too high and I kicked myself completely over. So that's just me personally. Maybe Ludovit Klein has a little bit more flexibility in his hips, but I'd like to think that mine are pretty hip flexible and I can, kick pretty high. So I don't know, whatever. Either way, point is, dude's got good kicks, he's got good counters, good power, things like that. Now, on the Bahamondes side, he's also a good striker, and he uses his natural ability as well, his long length. He uses that very well. He's a counter striker as well oftentimes, but he has that extra window being the longer guy. Very accurate. In fact, his striking accuracy is through the roof. Very powerful. He's got some good volume as well. It puts it out there. Head movement is impressive for a guy that tall because it usually it's just a lean back, but he's able to get his side to side, do some things that way, does a good job, and he can strike well out of either stance. He also has kicks to all levels. It sure is a lot easier for Bahamondes to kick somebody 5'7" in the head than for somebody 5'7" to kick somebody 6'3" in the head. So let's put it that way. He does have good kicks to all levels, uses that length very well, that height very well, like I said. His takedown defense is pretty good as well, and he also will threaten with front chokes off of a sprawl sometimes, and that is interesting because guess what? That's how I'm picking him to win this thing. I'm thinking this is going to be a good striking battle back and forth, and at some point, Ludovit Klein is going to be like, man, I'm tired of getting pieced up on the outside here. I'm going to use one of my takedowns that I can mix in here and start to try and get that takedown. Well, what's going to happen? Bahamondes is going to start to sprawl, lock up a Darce choke, maybe an anaconda, but probably a Darce choke. I'm going to call it now. I did call the Kevin Holland Darce, just if you didn't notice. I called that. But anyway, he's going to slip that under there, lock in the Darce choke, and get the win by submission for Bahamondes. That's the pick. I threw some lunch money on the submission prop right before recording this video, so not like a real bet. So I'm talking like $5-6. I don't remember. I think it was whatever I had as like a non-even number in my sports book. I think it was like $5 and some change. I threw that on Bahamondes by submission, just because the odds are crazy, and I do think that that's a real possibility. If it hits, I'm going to be pretty freaking excited about it. So when this hits, come back here and be like, dude, that was super awesome. Way to go, 138 MMA guy. But otherwise, I do think he gets the win, whether it's by decision, submission, or getting the knockout. Let me know what you guys think. Are you on the Bahamondes side, or do you think Ludovit Klein's going to piece him up with them counter strikes and hit those nasty kicks? I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you guys. This is the only matchup on the card that I'm really just not super excited about, and it might in part be because I just don't think I have a good read on it. In fact, I've never had a good read on a Tanner Boser fight in his entire career. So here we go. We're going to try and break it down, and we're going to see how we do. We got Tanner Boser. He's taking on Aleksa Camur. Now, Camur's 3-2 in his last 5, 1-4 for Boser. It's only his second time at light heavyweight in the UFC, so yeah, So for Camur, we're going to start on his side. He's got good striking, clean straights, and a nice front kick up the middle. He's got good clean shots. Front kick, sticks his jab well. But he's very hittable in the pocket when he gets in tight, and then also he stays there way too long and just lets you hit him because, well, he's hittable there. Decent grappling. He's good cage push. I do like that. He can win minutes up against the cage. Doesn't do any damage, but he wins minutes there just by making it so he's not getting hit. And when he does get taken down, he does not accept bottom position. He was under William Knight quite a few times, fought out of that, was able to get back up or reverse position. Even though William Knight was able to reverse position on him quite a bit, he just never accepted that he was on the bottom, which I do like. For Tanner Boser, he's kind of just decent everywhere. He's got decent striking, decent volume, kind of sticks that jab out there, comes forward with it, good forward pressure. Decent power, he's coming down from heavyweight, so he hits a little harder than a lot of light heavyweights. That's the thing. Not all of them. Some of them hit really hard, but he's just decent in all those spots. Decent wrestling offensively. Like if he needs to get that push up against the cage or start working for a takedown, he can. But defensively, his takedown defense does often falter, and when he does get on the bottom, he gets stuck. So here's the thing. Like I said, I've had a horrible read on all of Tanner Boser's career, and I don't think I have a good read on this fight because we got Camur, who's coming in off of 2-3 years off. The guy has not fought in ages. I think his last fight might have been 2020 or 2021. It was a long time ago. It was long enough ago that I don't quite remember when it was. That's how long ago it was. It was in the long ago, the before time, if you will. Now, because of that, when I was watching the tape and I was trying to decide who I think's going to win, I was leaning towards Camur. But then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Could that be just because you have such a bad read on Tanner Boser and you always pick his fights wrong? Yeah, could be. Could be. I have picked a couple of his fights right. Not very many. I'm going to take Boser. And let me tell you why. Well, money's coming in on Camur, and he was the underdog. Now Boser's going to be the underdog, but Boser opened as the favorite. And I'm going to trust that the initial odds makers got this one right, and normally I don't, because this is the toughest fight on the card for me. I have zero confidence in my pick. I'm taking Boser just to outthink myself. Let me know what you guys think. If you have a good persuasive argument for taking Camur, I'd probably accept it and switch my pick. But right now, I'm on the Boser side. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you in the next fun matchup on this card. We're in the featherweight division where we have Diego Lopes taking on Gavin Tucker. Tucker's 3-2 in his last 5, 2-3 on the Lopes side. This is an interesting one because for Diego here, he's 28 years old as opposed to the 37-year-old Gavin Tucker, who's coming off of a long layoff. He's been off for 2 years now? So 2 years off for Gavin Tucker, 37 making the comeback. That's a bit scary in this matchup for him. But he's also the smaller fighter. He's 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. We got 5'11" and a 72-inch reach. All of the physical advantages for the Diego Lopes side. Whereas Gavin Tucker, yeah, not so much on those. Not so much. But it's an interesting matchup for a few other reasons I'm going to get into here shortly. But, like I said, long layoff for Gavin Tucker. He's coming back, taking on Diego Lopes, who looked really good in a loss in his last matchup, as we all know. Scared everybody who had Evloev in their parlay when that knee bar was in, and you were like, oh, man, we're about to lose our parlay on the guy that was a minus 1,000. Either way, for Diego, he is a good striker. Well, decent at least. He'd be good if he could just tone down the wildness a little bit. So I've got him listed as decent, but he'd be good if he could just tone it down just a smidge. He does have a good forward press, decent power when he throws, lots of volume, and he's just going to kind of come out there, see his little swoopy haircut flying all over the darn place while he's coming forward. It's good. He looks good on tape too when he's throwing those big shots and hitting you. But solid jiu-jitsu if it ends up on the mat because, well, he doesn't have very good takedown defense, so it'll probably end up on the mat at times. But he's got a very large toolbox. He's opportunistic in his subs as well as his passes, his scrambles, everything like that. He's very opportunistic in his grappling, and he's incredibly active off of his back. As we saw, like I said, in that Evloev fight, dude looked good. His losses are coming to some of the better competition. He has a loss to Joe Anderson Brito. He has a loss to Movsar Evloev. These are guys that are established in the UFC, getting a lot of wins. So that 2-3 is very misleading for Diego Lopes. Now, on the Gavin Tucker side, he has the potential to give you a y'all must have forgot moment here. Because, yes, he's been away for a while, and in his last time out, he got knocked out in 20-some-odd seconds by Dan Ige, which it happens. Sometimes you just get hit right on the button. Before that, in fact, I almost think it was a mistake that I watched his matchup with Billy Q because my goodness did this guy look fantastic in that matchup. And I watched that matchup a couple of times because I watched it when I was focused on Gavin Tucker, and I watched it when I was focused on Billy Q, looking at some of his highlights and things like that. That was a low light for Billy Q. Gavin Tucker looks fantastic in that matchup. Comes forward with tons of pressure, high pace. The guy just looks fantastic. Now, he's done that in a lot of his matchups where he's looked really, really good. He's got good striking. His leg kicks are absolutely devastating. Good front kick as well, just right up the middle. He can snap it either to the chest or the face, doesn't matter. Pretty good power. Lands the body shots, whether it be with the hands or with the legs. And the volume's there as well while he's coming forward. So, dude's really good there. Something I like a lot is his clinch. When he gets in that clinch, he kind of gets the one side. We'll get both going and get the one side and then starts landing these brutal elbows that he's not only just landing the elbow, but he's pulling his opponent's head into. Boom, just like that. Boom, over and over. And he lands those very well. He's also got good knees from the clinch as well. He's pretty well-rounded, let's put it that way. Now, when it gets to the grappling, he's got good wrestling. Timing on the takedowns is it's up there as one of the better ones. Got good timing, good control, likes to take the back and start looking for the rear naked choke. I think he needs to avoid that. He needs to stay off the wrestling in this matchup because if he doesn't give Lopes, I think it's Lopes, if he doesn't give him the ability to get the grappling going with the takedowns, I think on the feet, Gavin Tucker's going to be better. Okay, I'm going to explain this one to you how I did it. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to take Gavin Tucker to give you the y'all must have forgot moment. I think if the Gavin Tucker that showed up in that Billy Q matchup shows up, Diego's in some serious trouble. Now, if the Gavin Tucker that showed up in that Dan Ige matchup shows up, well, we're going to see a really short night. So there is that. But I'm going to take Gavin Tucker as the official pick, but here's how I'm going to play it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Gavin Tucker as the underdog because I think he's going to win, right? But I'm also going to throw the same bet as far as dollars go on Diego Lopes or Lopes. I think it's Lopes. Let me know in the comments. Is it Lopes or Lopes? I don't know how you're going to let me know because you're going to spell it out. Either way, for Diego, I'm going to take him by sub. Because at sub, you can get him at plus money because he is a slight favorite in the matchup. So I'm going to take him by sub, and I'm going to take Gavin Tucker money line. I'm going to think that Gavin Tucker is probably going to win. But if he does lose, it's because Lopes gets that grappling going and is able to probably get a submission. Because I don't think he's going to be able to outwork him on the feet. I think if it's on the feet, Gavin Tucker is going to be the better striker. And I do think that the takedowns are there for Gavin Tucker to win rounds if he does it right, if he does it at the end of a round when there's not enough time for Lopes to work. So, for me, Gavin Tucker's the pick. I hedge it by playing the sub on the other side. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear from you. Do you think that's a good idea, or do you think I'm just going to lose both of them when Lopes gets a decision? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I'll see you next fight. It's a really fun light heavyweight matchup here between a couple of guys that are probably going to go out there and have a good striking match. And if you've been enjoying yourself, and you've made it this far in the video, do me a favor and hit that like button. I appreciate it a ton. It doesn't cost you a penny. All you got to do is hit that like button, and it does really help the channel. I appreciate your support. My last breakdown actually had quite a few likes. It had 80 likes on that video, which is, I think, the most I've ever had. So, hey, thank you. At least on a full card breakdown anyway. Some old Contender Series stuff got a few more. But as far as a full card breakdown, thank you guys for doing that. I appreciate it a ton. Let's go and break down this fight. I think this is going to be a striking matchup, so we're going to start with the takedown defense. They both got good takedown defense. There we go. Neither guy's probably going to be shooting a ton of takedowns. We got 3 and 2 in the last 5 for both of them, so both guys about the same there. Although Dustin Jacoby's is a little sketch because we don't know. One of them was a pretty close matchup that I don't know that he actually lost. But the height and reach. Now this is interesting because they're not super far off in height, 6'5" to 6'3". It's a couple of inches, whatever. The reach though. 76-inch reach for Jacoby and 83-inch reach for Nzechukwu. Kennedy Nzechukwu, 83-inch reach over Dustin Jacoby. Well, not 83 inches over that, but you know what I mean. 83. That is a very long wingspan. This guy can hit you from like across the room. Not really, but you know what I mean. Kennedy Nzechukwu, he's a good striker. He's got power, but the most important thing is he can land while he's still out of range. That is the most important thing. Another thing I do like about him is his knees up the middle. He lands those very good, but sometimes his volume sucks and he just stands there looking like he's waiting for the fight to start. Sometimes he's like when you're playing Mortal Kombat with your buddies and you set the controller down and you go to grab a drink, but you're like, hey, no, truce, like no, don't hit me yet. I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'll be right back. And your character's just sitting there like this. It's kind of what he's doing with a little less arm movement. So anyway. Nzechukwu, when he lands, devastating power, can hit you from out of range, knees up the middle. Like I said, I like all those things. For Dustin Jacoby, he's a very high-level kickboxer. This guy has good volume. He's got an excellent leg kick. can land it and kind of slow guys down, get them to stop their movement. And then he can counter-strike the heck out of them because he's very technically sound, got crisp combinations, crisp counters, and he does a very good job at it. He's clearly the better striker here, but he has to get inside of range by a pretty good clip in order to land on a guy like Nzechukwu. This is a tough fight for that reason, because I understand why Nzechukwu is the favorite, even though he's not as good of a striker as Dustin Jacoby. I understand he's probably got more power. Don't get me wrong, he definitely has more power. But he's not as technically sound. He's not as skilled in the striking. And it's not like either of these guys are going to be able to get their grappling going a ton anyway. There might be a little bit of cage push here and there, but I don't think it's going to be a grappling match. Let's put it that way. So for me, this one comes down to, do I think the skill of Jacoby is going to outmatch the power and range of Nzechukwu, or do I think the reverse is true? And I have trouble with it because I've gone back and forth a little. I think I'm going to trust the skill of Dustin Jacoby to get this one done, probably by decision. But I think he's going to get the leg kick going early. I think he's going to start countering as Nzechukwu comes in. He's going to be able to slow him down, slow the movement, and then be able to land those counters. So I'm going to take Dustin Jacoby to win a decision here. It's yet again another underdog, so who knows? Let me know what you guys think. I am not saying I'm not going all in on Jacoby here. So if you've got a good case for Nzechukwu, I sure want to hear it down in the comments. If it's anything outside of what I just said, otherwise you can just reiterate it. That's fine. Helps the algorithm when you leave a comment, so I appreciate it a lot. I will see you guys in the next fight. We got some good ones coming up. Event of the evening, and just a quick reminder that my Dana White Contender Series videos have already been uploaded. You can get them and beat some line movement by signing up for a channel membership. Now, there's no pressure to do that. You're still going to get the videos. There's going to be a little bit later. However, if you want to get early access, $2.99 channel membership, you'll get access to week 1 of Dana White's Contender Series. Beat that line movement. If you're not interested in that, you want to just wait till they come out later this week, totally cool. I just don't want to put them out too early and then nobody views them, and then that's a bad thing for the channel. So, anyway, to this co-main event here, we have a fun one. We have Jessica Andrade in the strawweight division. She's taking on Tatiana Suarez. For Tatiana, she is 5-0 in her last 5 because guess what? She's undefeated on her career at 9-0. She has been away for a while. She came back, got a win since being off, but her career, she's been riddled with injuries. She's had cancer. She's had everything. If it could go wrong, it did, okay? Now, for Andrade, she's 3-2 in her last 5, but it's been kind of the tale of two Jessica Andrades. She looks fantastic beating up Lauren Murphy, but then she's got absolutely demolished in her last couple of matchups, Blanchfield and Yan Janan. Is that just they're too high up in the competition for her? Is the sport passed her by? She's not even that old. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Interesting matchup here, though, because at 115 pounds, Jessica Andrade has always looked very, very talented, very skilled, and looked like an absolute world beater. But Tatiana Suarez obviously has looked about the same as that. She's looked like a world beater. She's 9-0 on her career, and she's looked very dominant in her career so far. So let's start with the Suarez side. She's got very strong wrestling. Some of the best wrestling in the entire division. Probably the best in the 115-pound division, to be honest. Actually, definitely the best in the 115-pound division. She's got solid takedowns, and she has multiple options to get it there. She has her traditional takedowns, the single legs, the double legs, whatever. But she's also got really good body lock, and she's got some good throws as well. Some judo-style throws, some more wrestling-style throws. She's got the options to get the fight to the mat. And in fact, a lot of the time she's going to pass guard in the transition from the takedown to the mat. So she's not going to often end up in guard when she gets the takedown. She ends up in side control, half guard, whatever it may be. But she's trying to get out of guard while she's there. So she's just killing 2 birds with 1 stone, if you will. Now, she's got good takedown defense, so she doesn't really have to worry about being taken down. Although, it'd be interesting to see what happens if she did. She does have heavy ground and pound as well. She will pound your face into the mat, and she's going to start looking for subs. And she's got decent submissions, but they're primarily chokes that are from people just not wanting to get hit anymore and giving up a choke. She does have a few opportunistic subs she can jump on, but a lot of times it's that, she's mugging people on the ground and they're ready to get out of there kind of thing. So that's Tatiana Suarez in a nutshell. Definitely going to use the wrestling. She can strike, but seriously, the wrestling's her path to victory. She's going to use it. Now, for Andrade, she's a very fast starter. It doesn't matter what fight it is. She's coming forward, and she's going to start using her striking with that forward pressure. She's going to start throwing power, big bombs. She keeps that power throughout the fight, and she's got good volume as well. She's going to come forward and try and bully her opponents. Now, if she gets in real tight, she'll pick them up for a slam because she does have some brutal slams, as we saw her knock out Rose Namajunas with a slam. She's got that as an option for her. She's got decent jiu-jitsu, especially when she's on top. Off her back, it's not as good, but if she doesn't end up on top, her jiu-jitsu's there, and she does have some good ground and pound. Now, that's what she wants. She wants to come in, bully you on the feet with the big, heavy shots, pick you up, slam you on your dome, and then start landing some big ground and pound. That's Jessica Andrade in a nutshell. Now, this is a good matchup because had we not just seen Jessica Andrade lose those last 2 fights, had she been coming off the Lauren Murphy fight, this would be a main event. That's what I'm saying. This is a fight night main event had Jessica Andrade been coming off that absolute dominance of Lauren Murphy, but she's not. So now it kind of looks like a setup fight for Tatiana Suarez, am I right? Everybody's like, oh man, yeah, Jessica Andrade has not looked good. She's taking all these fights that she probably shouldn't be taking, and now she's fighting Tatiana Suarez in a fight that, yeah, everybody thinks Tatiana Suarez is going to win, and I'm not different. I think Tatiana Suarez is going to get this one done. I think the wrestling is how she's going to do it. But, guys, wow, how soon we forget. Jessica Andrade could come out there and land a shot on the chin of Suarez and put her out in the first round. So land that chalk, as much as I would love to, because, you know, like, oh, it's a safe... I just had a fly land on my nose. As much as you would think, oh, it's a safe pick, she's like a minus 400 favorite, she's going to go out there and steamroll through Jessica Andrade. Here's the deal, guys. Andrade is tough. She's got heavy hands, and it could go really sour really fast for someone like Tatiana Suarez. Not to mention the history of injuries, whatever, you know, all that stuff. So, for me, I'm going to take Tatiana Suarez, but I think I'm just going to sit back and watch this one. I'm going to kick my feet up on the coffee table. I'm going to crack open a nice cold root beer. I'm going to sit back and see what happens here, because then, moving forward, we're going to have a good idea of where Jessica Andrade actually is in her career, depending on what kind of fight she puts up here, and that's going to be better for figuring that out down the road. So let me know what you guys think. I love hearing from you guys in the comments. Plus, you know, your comments boost this video a little bit. So please drop your comments. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you in the main event. It is the main event, and gosh darn it, guys, are you excited or what? I sure am. This is a good main event. Obviously, it sucks that we lost the original matchup with Umar taking on Cory Sandhagen, but you know what? Things happen, and Rob Font is one heck of a good replacement. This is now going to be at a catch weight of 140 pounds because of the short notice nature of this fight, but it's still going to be a heck of a fight. It's still going to be a very fun fight. And guess what, guys? This is your last reminder to hit that like button with a nice overhand right, because I need that like button smashed, as that's what you're supposed to say. You got to say smash the like button. That's what everybody says. Either way, I need the likes. I appreciate them. They don't cost you a penny, not even a single penny. And in fact, I'm even giving you the time right now while I'm blabbering to go down there and do that so you don't miss anything. So anyway, let's break down this fight once you're done liking the video. Now, both guys 3-2 in their last 5 fights. For Rob Font, like I said, he's taking this on short notice, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal here. It's not too bad for him. He's got solid striking. In fact, he's coming off that good win over Adrian Yanez, where he hit him with that jab and just messed him up. But solid striking. He's got good volume. He's very accurate in his punches. The footwork's there. He's got quick hands. Nice, speedy, able to switch his stance. He is predominantly going to fight out of the orthodox stance, but he can fight southpaw when need be. He's very durable. But we all know it's the jab. It's the friggin' jab from Rob Font. He makes it long, really long jab. He can extend it out there and blast guys with it. There's no setup, no tell. That jab comes out when you don't know it's coming. He's got a good jab. Mixes the tempo up on his jab too. You know, where he's double pumping it, sticking it and changing the tempo, making you not know where it's coming from, when he's going to throw it. My jabs were looking a little sloppy there, but I was also trying to make eye contact with you so I could keep talking. So either way, his jab, it sets up the 1-4 and the 1-6. Now, the 1-4 is if he's got an opponent that crashes forward. The 1-6 is if he's got an opponent that wants to duck under. So he sets that up here, and if it's an opponent that wants to come in and just, you know, do that thing where you split the jab, or when somebody throws a jab, you throw the over here, and then you come under inside, and you try to get inside on him like you know, to get in the pocket and maybe land the clinch, elbows, whatever. He uses the 1-4 there. So it's boom, boom. We saw him do that a lot against a guy like Cody Garbrandt. It was a great example of that. We saw him do that a lot. Now, the 1-6, on the other hand, he's going to do that against guys that want to shoot under and try and get the takedown. So he's going to throw that jab, and then as they go to duck under, he, boom, hits that 6, that rear uppercut, and lands that, kind of shuts down that takedown attempt. So he's going to mix those things together. Does a darn good job of it. Those are his go-to 2-punch combos that he sets up off that jab. But the jab's the where it's at for Rob Font. That's his best weapon. Now, when it comes to the grappling, I'm not going to cover a ton of grappling because realistically, this is probably going to be mostly striking. And the reason why is, although the takedown defense of Rob Font isn't the best, he is able to get back to his feet fairly quickly. He works back up. He's got safe submission defense, and if he does get on top, his ground and pound is pretty darn good. Usually when he clubs somebody, drops him down, his ground and pound is vicious. Dude's got serious killer instinct. Like, he's very good once he cracks a guy. So for Sandhagen, he's very unorthodox, but he's got very solid striking. The footwork is very unorthodox. He moves kind of wild, has his hands low. That can result in him being able to get backed up, which I don't like, especially against a guy like Rob Font, who's going to come forward and pump that jab at you. But other than that, I think he's got a lot of good things going for him in this matchup. For one, he's a very damaging striker, and Rob Font has been able he's been able to weather a lot of shots throughout his career, but he's now getting to the point where he kind of swells up really easy, gets cut open a little easier, things like that. So a damaging guy like Cory Sandhagen with those elbows, those knees, and even that flying knee, for a guy like, I was going to demonstrate it, but, we're in my house right now. I don't want to mess anything up. But anyway, for Cory Sandhagen, landing those type of strikes on a guy like Rob Font, the damage visual is going to be there. Now, he's got good combinations. One that I really like is that lead hook to the body that he follows with the rear leg roundhouse kick to the leg. So he's gonna hit that hook and then come through with that kick. And he uses it to close distance as well as, obviously throw kind of an unorthodox combination. It works very well for him. Heck of a good set of volume. Like, what he's going to do, he's going to come through with his shots. He's going to mix in the elbows, all those type of things. He's going to keep putting all this stuff together. So the volume of Cory Sandhagen is very impressive, but how is he going to deal with that jab getting pumped down the middle and then him getting backed up? It's an interesting matchup for him. I really think so. Now, recently, he started mixing in a lot more takedowns, and when he gets on top of you and starts landing elbows, that could be the end of your night pretty quickly. He does a good job in that. The thing that I don't like, though, is that he's facing a guy in Rob Font that's probably going to be able to get back up at least most of the time, because Rob Font's really good at getting back to his feet. So this is a close matchup, actually. I do really like Cory Sandhagen to win this matchup because I think he's the more damaging striker. He's not taking it on short notice, and I do think that he's going to be able to get his shots landing, and especially as the fight goes on, that damage is going to accumulate, and a guy like Rob Font might get stopped via cut. I'm actually predicting a TKO win for Cory Sandhagen due to damage accumulation, not because he's just landing shots. Damage accumulation, the doctor's going to wave it off, and we get Cory Sandhagen winning the matchup, and that's what I think is going to happen. But guys, let me know what you think. I've had a fun time breaking this down. Check out all the things, hit me up on Twitter or whatever, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon. Get yourself a channel membership. I appreciate the heck out of you. And last thing, I haven't mentioned it yet in this video. Get yourself a nice, fun game from Grey Dog Software. The link's in the comments, or in the description. Sorry, it's in the description. Grey Dog Software. They make the World of Mixed Martial Arts 5. Fantastic game. I enjoy the heck out of it. I wish I had more time to play it. I work a crap load of hours, and I do these videos. But I would love to hear from you guys if you liked that game, if you played that game before, or if you haven't played it, maybe you played a previous title and you'd like to try this one. Hey, get it from my link. It's in the description of this video. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you soon.